Hello, fellow nerds. Have you ever found yourself up late at night reminiscing on the hit mid 2000s TV show Lost? I certainly have. If you don't know, Lost is a TV show where some philosophers, a literary character, and a bunch of other people all get stuck on an island. They have to work together to survive, uncover the secrets of the island, and eventually get their way off. Well, unless you get to the later seasons where they actually want to get back on the island. But I'm getting a little off track here.
They bring bad stuff to everyone around you. They're cursed. You know that, right? The numbers are cursed.
What made this show fun was the mystery surrounding the island itself, one of which involved a particular sequence of numbers: 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. These numbers show up everywhere throughout the show and are implied to have some sort of mysterious meaning to them. They're first introduced in the season 1 episode titled Numbers, where they're first seen in this random girl's notes. Then you find out Hurley won the lottery with these numbers. Since winning the lottery, though, he's found nothing but bad luck. His grandfather dies, his mother breaks her ankle, the house he bought her catches on fire, he gets falsely arrested, the list goes on and on. Hurley blames the numbers and believes they're cursed. The rest of the episode follows him on his quest in both the past and present to determine the origins of these numbers, which just so happens to be from a radio transmission coming from the island, and at the end of the episode, you find out that they end up on the mysterious hatch they found earlier. At this point, you're like, what? Why are they on the hatch? Thinking about these numbers and how they show up mysteriously throughout this show, this got me thinking, do they show up anywhere in real life? Maybe in pi? I mean, pi is an irrational number, and when represented as a decimal, the digits go on forever. There are infinitely many of them in a non-repeating pattern. So if I take the lost numbers as a 10-digit sequence, I should be able to find it somewhere in pi, right? Well, it turns out it might not be so simple. After all, there are irrational numbers that do not contain every digit, let alone every possible sequence of digits imaginable. Take, for example, 0.010011000111, and I think you get the idea. This is an irrational number. It certainly doesn't repeat, but it only consists of strings of ones and zeros. Now, pi certainly contains all 10 digits, but that still doesn't mean it contains every single finite sequence of digits, which means our lost number might not be in pi. Luckily for us though, there's a good reason to believe it does. Have you ever heard of a normal number? Well, you're in luck, because neither have I until researching for this video. A quick look at the Wikipedia page tells us that a number is normal if no finite combination of digits of a given length occurs more frequently than any other combination of the same length. Basically, I can think of this like a dice. When you roll a dice, all sides have equal probability of being face up. In the same way, I can pick any 10-digit sequence, and mine will have equal probability of showing up than any other one. Now, before we get too excited here, the question of whether pi is a normal number is still an open problem in mathematics, but it's conjectured to be normal, and it has been proven that almost all real numbers are. So, there's good reason to believe it is. Taking this assumption into place, not only can I expect to find the number in pi, but I can expect the probability of finding it to be 1 in 10 billion. That's a large number, and even if I do check the first 10 billion digits, normality doesn't tell me anything about the specific distribution within the first 10 billion digits, only the number as a whole. So I don't really know for sure if it will show up within the first 10 billion digits or not, but it at least gives me some sort of framework to work with when conducting this experiment. Now it's time to come up with our game plan. If you go onto the internet, you can find websites with digits of pi on them. I even found a really convenient one where you can type in a sequence of digits and the website will go through pi and find that sequence for you. Problem with all these websites, though, is that they only have 1,000,000 digits of pi. And as you can expect, that's not enough digits for us. We have to find a way to get more digits of pi. Lucky for us, though, the kind people at the Google Cloud Platform have leveraged their cloud technology to calculate 100 trillion digits of pi, which is the current world record. Now that's well above the ballpark I'm expecting to find the lost number in. Problem is, that's a lot of digits. And in order to store all those digits, you'd need 84 terabytes of space. Now I don't have that much space, and I don't want to rent out all that space on the cloud. Lucky for us again, they've already done that for us. They've developed a REST API. All I gotta do is pull digits of pi from the API and profit. This is really convenient. I highly recommend checking their site out. They've made some really cool stuff using pi, and I probably would not have been able to make this video if it wasn't for them. So now the plan is to write a script that will pull digits of pi using the REST API, and then check those digits of pi for our lost numbers, move on, pull some more, and repeat. I decided to use Python, given the theme. I wrote the script and got it running. So the problem I was running into now was the script was running way too slow. By my calculations, it was going to take 64 years to get through 10 billion digits of pi. I'm not that patient. At this point, I was getting overwhelmed. Was this idea even going to be possible? Heck, was it even worth doing? I mean, we saw what happened to Hurley when he used the numbers. Am I cursing myself? Should I just give up on this foolish dream of mine? Confession time, I'm something of a nerd myself. As you can tell by my vast collection of overly pretentious books that I started and never finished. And when I was in middle school, I memorized 223 digits of pi for our annual Pi Day competition, and I still hold the record to this day. So I know a thing or two, or 3.14159265358979323384626433832795028. So no, I was not gonna give up. I was gonna find a way to do this. After all, I'm a scientist and logician. I don't believe in curses anyway. Now, when looking at my script, I noticed one thing in particular. I was making a lot of API calls. Now, API calls are slow, and I was certain this was the greatest bottleneck that I had to overcome. I was grabbing 10 digits at a time, checking if they were the right ones, and then incrementing the index by 1. This was certainly not an efficient way to minimize API calls. I do not think I could have been less optimized. So I played around, found out the maximum digits you could pull at a time was 1,000, and started pulling 1,000 at a time and checking for my lost numbers within those. This sped me up about 1,000 times as fast, and was now going to take me about 24 days to get through 10 billion digits. Now that's reasonable, but after having gone through 1 billion digits, I realized I'm still not that patient. Now it's time for some concurrency. Using some nerdy shit, I got 9 virtual machines on the cloud that could run the script about twice as fast as my personal computer. I started them all at different indices, separated from each other by 1 billion digits of pi, and then just let them run. By my calculations, this was going to take a little over a day to get through all 10 billion digits. There was nothing left to do but wait. And I didn't have to wait long, because after only about 2.5 hours, I got a match. 8,053,597,981 digits into pi. I found my number. This was my moment that I had been waiting for. And I found it within 10 billion digits too. For reference, this is pretty close to the total amount of people on the planet currently. 8 billion years ago, Earth wasn't even around yet. It would take you 200 lifetimes to eat 8 billion bananas. but it's not nearly as big as the amount of cells in the human body, or atoms in the universe, or 52 factorial. Now, what does this tell us? That pi is normal? Nope. This is a far cry from a formal proof. Did the number show up extraordinarily sooner than expected, indicating it has some greater meaning like in Lost? Nope. What this does tell us, though, is that I can think of some pretty silly ideas to waste my time with. Thank you everyone for watching the video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, maybe thinking about liking the video, maybe leave a little comment in there, maybe even subscribe. It would really help me out a lot. I plan on making more fun and flirty videos like this in the future. I hope you all have a beautiful and amazing day. And remember, stay curious. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna eat my fair share of pie. Tasty!